Hello, and welcome back to the 162 in Arlington podcast. Today, we are going to be listing five things that need to happen for the Rangers to make the playoffs in 2026. Um, Onurith is back. He's been sick from years. Is your throat cleansed?
Pretty much, yeah. I can speak now.
He can speak. He can speak. And that's all that matters is you can speak. Oh my god. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed the WBC. That was fun. Uh, some great entertainment. By the way, this guy across me, he went to sleep at 8:30 last night. We got U.S. Venezuela going on. One of the a great final, and this guy went to sleep at 8:30.
Hey, I
He's
was
like, I'm
still
hitting the
watching
hay.
it. I was just in bed.
Nah, bro. This is like I was like, what are you doing? All right, let's get started. We're waffling. Okay, so each of us have come up with five things. Um, and we haven't told each other what those five things are. And so we're each going to share it. And we may have the same things, we may have five completely different things we don't know. So I'm going to start. Uh, Number one thing for me for the Rangers to make the playoffs, and you probably have this, is that someone has to step up to be the closer.
Yeah.
Someone has got to step up to be the closer. That's number one on my list. Last year, you had Luke Jackson closing out the first two games, and then Robert Garcia came on and he was inconsistent. Sean Armstrong stepped up in the last month and a half, and that's kind of how the Rangers got back into the race and like played their best baseball was when Armstrong stepped up to in that closer role, and that is what the Rangers need for to improve the most is if someone can step up and be stable as a closer uh, throughout the year, that's a big step up because the Rangers never had a consistent closer until Armstrong in the back half.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I put down as well was just, I mean, yeah, they never really had a solid closer, and the guys they did put on besides Armstrong were not solid.
Yeah, you can. So you had that as one.
Yeah, I had that as one.
Oh yeah, you can give a second reason.
So my second reason, or my first reason, or way that they will make the playoffs is they have to have consistent and situational offense. Because last year, like you look up and down the board, their offensive numbers weren't like awful. It was just they never situationally were good. Like they're all average hitters. Like honestly, most of them were average hitters. It's just they could never hit with runners in scoring position, or you had a guy on third less than 2 outs, couldn't drive him in. That was most of the problem last year was they couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. And then even when they were doing that, you knew it was only last for like a week or two, and then they're back to being shit at hitting with runners in scoring position. So they can have a consistent offense throughout the year. They can make the postseason.
Yeah, that was one of my reasons. I think that like basically what you said. I said professional AB slash pass the baton energy. Like I know the DR, Dominican Republic, they didn't have a great offense against the U.S. But in their games where they played, where their offense went really good, it was like relying on the guy after them and passing the baton and making sure we're taking good at bats. And that's what we didn't see from the Rangers last year. It felt, just no professional at bats, situational hitting, like you said. Um, and like, it's not even like the stats of Jake Berger and Josh Young and Jock Peterson getting better, but can we just put together some professional at bats day in and day out. Getting the guy over and getting him in. Like good two strike hitting. That's another thing that the Rangers really struggled with. So I do think professional at bat, situational hitting, what we were just talking about, that if that can improve to just being average, it's a huge step up from where the Rangers were last year. So um, I'll give another reason. So I guess both of us have finished two reasons now. We've had the same reasons.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna stick with the lineup. This is actually so finding a closer was number one. The professional at bats slash pass the baton, that was number three on my list. I'm actually gonna go to number four, which was there needs to be short leashes in the lineup. short leashes in the lineup, specifically with Jock Peterson, Jake Berger, and Josh Young. There cannot be talks um, mid-season being like these guys are going to get better. These guys have track records. I don't think the Rangers are in a situation where they should be doing that. Like if Jock Peterson struggles for 3 weeks, he needs to be out. He needs to be out. Give Andrew McCutchen every opportunity as the everyday DH because you know he can handle it. He's been doing that the last 3 years and been average as a hitter on DH. Um, when it comes to Jake Berger at first, last year he didn't look good. He didn't look good against righties, and if you're gonna call someone up, I don't know who can really play first base in the minors. With them trading out Mimelic Ortiz, but maybe Mark Canha is gonna stick around, and you can call him up, who's an average bat, and he can fill in. At third base, you have Cody Freeman. You have Cam Cauley now, who is like been on the Rangers' radar based on what he's done spring training wise. We can't do what the Rangers can't do what they've done last 2 years with Jonah Heim, Adolis Garcia, Peterson, Berger, and Young, and just keep playing these guys when they're hurting the team every at bat that they're given. You know, and in mid late August when they called up Ozuna, they called up Freeman, and they called up Hellman, that's when the lineup was at its best because they gave a shot to some of these AAA guys that were putting together better at bats than the guys that were getting everyday reps. Like Ozuna, uh, Hellman, and Freeman were putting together better at bats than Young, Berger, and Peterson. The AAA trio was better than the MLB trio, which says something about how bad the big league team was. So there needs to be shorter leashes than there were last year, and I hope that Schumacher and Chris Young have put more of a foot on the pedal to that.
Yeah, so that was my second reason. Well, not exactly. I put bounce back from Jock Berger or Young. So pretty much what you said, right? I mean, they have to have a short leash. You cannot um, give these guys the runway you gave them last year. I say you give them like a month, maybe two. See if they're hitting. If they're not, then get someone else to do it. Because these guys, I mean, obviously Young is young. Young is young, but yeah, because none of these guys were consistent. Berger was consistent against lefties, though. I do like him for lefties, but then Jock and Young were just not consistent at all. So I said you needed a bounce back from one of them, but if they're not bouncing back, then yeah, we got other guys who can hit. Let's just put them in. Like Cam Cauley
Yeah,
should. If Young's playing like shit or Peterson's playing like shit, McCutchen should be in. If Young's playing like shit, Cauley should be in.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it. I'm very interested. Like, what is the backup plan if Berger sucks at first? Because maybe like they can't move Josh Smith or Zeke Duran to first. Like that didn't. Josh Smith didn't look the part at first.
Yeah.
Just like he's too small. Like I just wonder what the backup option is for first if Jake
I
Berger
mean, it seems
struggles.
like
Obviously,
it's like Schumacher really trusts Berger, so
yeah, Schumacher loves Berger, which is one of my worries to be honest. If like he's got such like affection for Berger that he's just gonna keep him in, but if he's hurting the team, he needs to be gone. And I hope that Schumacher comes with that energy as well as Chris Young. Okay, so each of us have done three now,
yeah.
right? Okay, you can do another one.
Yeah, so this is my third reason, or third way, was starting pitching needs to stay healthy because I was looking at this and I was realizing, wow, they got besides Lats or Rocker, they really don't got anyone else past like they can get one guy injured and then they don't really have like a good starter. And even then Rocker's not a good starter. He still needs time to build, but yeah, if their starting pitching can't stay, especially with how dominant it was last year, they really need the starting pitching to stay healthy, especially with Globe Life being a pitcher's ballpark. And this is a pitching team now. I mean, you just got to admit that their offense has not been good. So if they lose that key factor, then there's like no telling how this is going to go. They could easily go on a losing streak.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't agree on I do think they have depth. Like I do think because maybe one of Gomber and Quantrill sticks around in the minors, so you have depth there. And then they do have like good like minor league starting pitching prospects coming up, and we don't know if they're going to be good, but they do have some like high level starting pitchers coming up. Winston Santos, Um, David Davilo, Jose Corniello, those guys. We're not the biggest prospects guys. We're just going to be honest. But they are like highly rated prospects on the Rangers like prospect list, and they are certified depth. So I'm not worried about the depth, but I do agree with you when it comes to health because my number two on my list was actually starters replicate slash better on the road. So when it comes to like starters replicate, that's what the health has to be there. Um, from DeGrom, from Leiter, from Gore. Like actually, Gore did miss some time because he had some shoulder
Yeah,
soreness. But for the most part, even Leiter also missed some time.
yeah.
So there could be some upside when it comes to health. Um, but the starters do need to replicate what they did last year or even perform better on the road. Because last year, uh, I believe the Rangers were the Rangers pitching staff was a lot better at home than they were on the road. The Rangers pitching staff had a 2.8 ERA at home versus a 4.2 ERA on the road.
And
So the
how much
Rangers
of that
pitching,
is that Globe Life Field?
yeah, that is Globe Life Field, but I do think um, like the pitching staff is better than it was last year, right?
Yeah.
Like we got Gore's basically replacing Corbin, and then what you have Jacob Latz replacing Molly, and like I don't think you're getting. I think you are taking a step forward in the level of this rotation, and I think if they can replicate what they did last year, be even better. Like Leiter takes the next step, uh, Gore takes the next step, Degrom replicates. Evaldi can throw innings, throw a little bit more innings. Hopefully, the injuries are on his side this year, and then Lax is just solid. I think they need that for them to make the playoffs, but they also need them to be better on the road because it's weird that the offense was a lot worse at home than it was on the road, but they had a better home record than they did on the road because the pitching was a lot worse on the road, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so if the pitching staff is better on the road, say it goes from like they can stay at a 2.8 ERA on home and then move the road ERA from like 4.2 ERA to like a 3.7, 3.6 ERA on the road. That is a huge improvement, and the pitching staff gets even better. But if the starters can just replicate what they did last year, they'll still be in a good spot.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that really needs to change is DeGrom versus the AL West. DeGrom was not good against the AL West. I mean, I
Yeah,
specifically
Seattle
remember
and Angels.
Angels, not really the A's, but the Angels, Astros, and the Mariners. He was just bad against. I mean, everyone's bad against the Mariners, but still,
Yeah,
Astros is
sure.
something like you can't. Like he would always give up 3 or 4 runs, and like for this offense, 3 or 4 runs is too much. You need to be staying at 1 to 2.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. The homers were like kind of a problem for him, but like they didn't. He would give homers to guys. Zach Neto killed the Rangers last year. I
Yeah.
felt like every time he'd lead off the game and just it's a double or a homer every
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
Um,
against the Angels is unacceptable. You cannot be bad against the Angels.
yeah, that the Angels always have a good lineup. Their lineup has gotten worse, but he does need to be better against the Angels
Yeah.
and Mariners and Astros. Yeah. But like I said, like just if they're better on the road and can replicate what they did, then they're in a good spot.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna have like my fifth reason. So I'll let you talk about your fifth reason.
Yeah. So my fifth reason was we need Langford or Carter to step up. I think one of those two needs to step up and be a dog. Because Langford obviously needs to take the next step. We're expecting more out of him than just being an average hitter. So we need him to step up. I mean, Carter needs to not get injured. He needs to stay healthy, and just like we said before, if he has that slash line last year for the full season, he'll be good. But we need him to step up and do that because I think these two play such a huge role in if they do make the playoffs or not. I mean, obviously, if these one of these two get injured, you do have Ozuna, which I think is a really solid option. I think he's really good, but you would like to see Langford and Carter stay healthy a whole season and just kind of carry this team offensively if they need to.
Yeah, yeah. Langford and Carter, they they have the potential to be like one of the better players in this league. We've seen the peaks of both those guys, and um, yeah, can I think if they can match what they did last year, there's the thing is if they can play 140, 150 games, matching the stats that they had last year, like the slash line, and then everything grades out well at like 140, 150 games. I think they're in a good spot. The only thing is, there's so many other question marks in this lineup when it comes to like we said, Peterson, Berger, Young, Josh Smith at second base. Are the lineups going to be, are the at bats going to be professional throughout the lineup? So does that mean Langford and Carter need to take that next step? Which I do agree that in your case, that if the rest of the lineup performs like they did last year, and like Seager's getting hurt, Nemo's struggling for his first year um, in Globe Life Field, then Langford and Carter do need to step up to be the best versions of themselves that we know that they can be. So that actually wasn't my fifth reason, and I do yeah, but I harped to you about this last year a lot, which was they got to play better against the Mariners.
Yeah, yeah.
They they have to play better against the Mariners, and I know that in 23 they went 90 and 72. That year they went 500 against the Mariners, and I know they were really bad against the Astros that year, but the Mariners they play very bad against the Mariners. Like when those starting pitchers look like they're not even trying. Really. Like it looks like they're not trying when they go up against this Rangers lineup. And the Rangers need to put up more of a fight against the Mariners and just try to go 500 or even put up somewhat of a respectable record. Like if they go 5-8 against the Mariners team, I think they'll be fine. But putting up the records that they've done against the Mariners the last 2 years, like you just can't do that if you're trying to win the West and trying to make the playoffs. You can't be that bad against one of your rivals. You just can't. And then not go up and beat your other rival, the Astros. Like they didn't even get the tiebreaker against them, right? They were like a game under 500 against the Astros. So you need to either. I think the goal is you play better against the Astros and the Mariners. Specifically, the Mariners. You need to put up a respectable fight, and the record can't be as bad as it's been the last 2 years.
Yeah. I think because the difference in 23 was, yeah, I mean, you can get your butt kicked by the Astros if you're going to be decent against the Mariners. And that's what happened in 23. They got their butt kicked by the Astros, but they were decent against the Mariners in 23. What happened last year, they weren't even decent against the Astros. They were below average against the Astros. And then they got their ass kicked by the Mariners every time they played them. And then if that's the case, if you're going to be asked against both, against the Angels and the A's, you got to clean up shop. You got to like take care of business there. And like it felt like they definitely did it, but like there were some times against the Angels and the A's that they definitely should have played better. So I think just in general against the AL West, they got to be better.
Yeah, yeah, being better against the AL West. I believe they went. If my mind recalls, I think they went 8-5 against the Angels, which I do believe them to be better against the Angels next year because I do think their offense has gotten worse, which is the offense, the Angels' offense has usually been what's killed the Rangers, is if that Angels' offense is really good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, I think with the A's, they played better against the A's in the second half when JP Sears was gone,
Oh yeah.
which JP Sears would
Ooh,
always
Sears,
carve up
man.
the Rangers. Yeah, he would always carve up the Rangers. And when he was gone, the Rangers actually played better against the A's, so I feel confident about that. Against the Astros, I feel confident. I think the Rangers played well against the Astros up until that last series when they got swept.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about
And
against the
plus, we don't got to
Astros,
worry
but
about Valdez anymore.
yeah, but Tatsuya in mine might be
Oh,
that guy
oh,
still.
yeah, that would
But
suck.
yeah, he could be that guy that um I actually like him. He has a good splitter.
Yeah.
Against the Mariners, I'm still like not convinced that they're going to play better against the Mariners, but I hope they do because it feels like they can just beat them without trying. Like I think it always weirds me out where the Mariners always finish like end up because I feel like they always play better against the Rangers. Like I truly feel like they play their best baseball against the Rangers. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like because I feel like when I see them play the Rangers, I think they should be a lot better than what they truly are.
yeah,
Um, well, that was, I guess we kind of did six, right?
yeah. Kind of.
Because we both talked about someone needing to step up in the bullpen.
Yeah,
We both talked about the starters needing to kind of replicate what they did last year. We talked about like having professional at bats, better professional at bats. Um, we talked about having like shorter leashes slash bounce backs, you know.
yeah,
And then I said play better against the Mariners, and then you said Evan Carter and White Langford stepping up. So we kind of had six reasons.
yeah,
So our lists weren't too different. We're kind of aligned on what we're looking for in the Rangers making the playoffs next year. But yep, that's it. And thank you guys for all the support in these first few weeks. We're excited for opening day in Philly next week. It's 1 week away. It's crazy. WBC ends, and then a week later, opening day is here. But we'll see you guys later. Peace.